Tonight on News 5 Live, the Briceño administration takes a back seat in the ongoing exchange between Portico and State Bank over the definitive agreement. Cane farmers in the north request an increase in the cost of brown and white sugar. A new chair for the KHMH Board of Directors is announced, and 12 former security guards of the courts file legal action against security-oriented services. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can...
On March 5th in Belize City, the 94th edition of the Baron Bliss Harbor Regatta takes place off Seashore Drive in the Buttonwood Bay area of Belize City. Come out at 9 a.m. and witness as 6 sailing clubs battle head-to-head for the coveted title of champions and thousands of dollars in cash and prizes. It's a showdown that you won't want to miss, as the spectacular 16 sailing dories from Gales Point, Malantee is back. Come on out and tailgate along the shore, or find that perfect spot to barbecue and imbibe while enjoying the sights and sounds of the Baron Bliss Harbor Regatta. Sunday, March 5th at 9 a.m. Sponsors are the Bliss Trust, Honorable Anthony Mahler and the BTB, Mahias United, Honorable Dolores Valderramas Garcia, Bowen & Bowen, and Mr. Wally Brown. Special thanks to the Belize Coast Guard, the Belize Ports Authority, and the Belize City Council.
Welcome to Design Depot, home of GE Appliances. Welcome. GE Appliances are designed, manufactured, and tested for real life, with long-lasting performance, which makes it a trusted brand amongst builders and homeowners. Design Depot has a wide range of GE appliances, such as washers, dryers, refrigerators, ranges, microwaves, and much more. Manage your daily chores more efficiently with GE Appliances. Good things for life. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
Indulge the flavor. Go beyond meat. Looks like meat. Tastes like meat. But it's better than meat. 100% plant-based. Rich in protein, 50% less saturated fat, no GMOs, no added soy, packed with benefits and sustainable. Beyond meat, good for you. good for the environment. Now available in 6 different types of products in Belize. Beyond Burger, Beyond Sausage, Beyond Beef, Beyond Chicken Nuggets, Beyond Chicken Tenders, Beyond Steak, Beyond Meat, distributed by United Distributors Limited.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
You know the saying, desperate times call for desperate measures. What do you do when you get to a dead end? Sometimes life just doesn't go the way we planned it to go. And when you're in those seasons of life, what do? Where do you go? Who do you turn to? Join Sagebrush Church as we begin our series, Dead End Desperation, where we'll talk about following God in some of the hardest moments of our lives. Be sure to visit sagebrush.church or download the Sagebrush app for locations, service times, and more.
Environmentally degradable plastics, or EDP, are plastics that are affected by a combination of environmental conditions that cause the plastic to break down within an acceptable time frame. They are specifically designed to degrade into carbon dioxide, water, and other biomass substances. The level of breakdown can vary based on standard test methods appropriate to the plastic. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank. Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, March 1st. I am Sabrina Daly. The Briceño administration remains on the sideline, observing keenly the ongoing dispute between Portico Enterprises Limited and State Bank Enterprises Limited over the purported existence of a definitive agreement that was granted to the Port of Magical Belize under the previous government. We have been reporting on recent developments between both entities involving their respective cruise tourism projects, as well as the exchange that has been taking place via a series of statements. Earlier today, we caught up with Prime Minister John Briceño and were able to ask him a few questions regarding the issue, considering the fact that his administration has remained relatively quiet on the matter. Viewers would recall that while the People's United Party was in opposition back in 2017, party leader John Briceño wrote to Michael Feinstein, a principal of State Bank Enterprises, pledging its steadfast support for the State Bank project. Now that the PUP is in power, its government is mum on the matter.
I'd like to get your weigh in on what seems to be a war of words between the two cruise port developers. There's a back and forth between Portico and State Bank Enterprises over the so-called definitive agreement that has been given to Portico. Your government has not officially gone on record to comment on this matter.
Well, this for an obvious reason. There are two private entities throwing words at one another, and that's between them. We as a government, we're here to be able to govern and to ensure that whatever investment or whatever approvals that were made by the government of Belize can be carried out. If the definitive agreement, and I have not seen it, was signed by the minister responsible, then obviously it is going to be binding because it's the government of Belize that signed it. But I will not get into the back and forth between the two entities. That's amongst them.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is perhaps a legal question to ask, but if it is found that the definitive agreement was given fraudulently, is there any way that perhaps your administration could rescind that contract?
That, as you rightly pointed out, that's a legal question, and that would be something that for the Attorney General's Ministry to take a look at and then to advise the cabinet. They've wrote a letter that they want to, what do you call it? They want to apply to the British investment, Belize-British investment treaty that we signed. And again, that's their right if they want to do that. We know that we're trying to do everything properly. We're trying to follow the law, and that's what I've said to Waterloo, I've said it to State Bank, and I've said it to Port Magical, to all of them. Once you follow the law, we'll have a government that is going to be supportive.
Increments for teachers and public officers will resume at the start of the next fiscal year on April 1st. But it hasn't been without much back and forth between the unions and the government. Both entities are set to meet on Thursday to finalize the return of the annual wage adjustment. Ahead of that meeting, which will see the Briceño administration being represented by Deputy Prime Minister Portal Hyde and Minister of Public Service Henry Charles Usher, we spoke with PM Briceño to get his take on the issue.
Yes, we have said it many times. From last year in December, I told the unions that we are prepared to unfreeze the increment freeze that we have, so that then our government employees can expect increments. There are a lot of good workers that deserve an increment, but also there are a number of them that don't deserve an increment, and that is the position I've been telling to the unions, that an increment is not an increase in salary. An increment should be given based on performance, and that is where I guess the unions don't like when I mention that.
We expect the meeting tomorrow to be our usual length that we had in 2021. The last meeting we had 2 weeks ago was about 4 hours. We expect tomorrow's meeting to go a bit longer. And as you said, words have meaning, right? So I think it's important for both sides to come to the table as we've always done. And certainly the main issues will be discussed tomorrow. I think that we're very close in terms of what each side wants to achieve. The issue of the increments is one that the government has already gone on record to say that the upcoming fiscal year we will be the resumption of the increments, and so certainly that's an issue. The issue of the pension reform as well.
Coupled with the unfreezing of increments is the discussion and implementation of pension reform. Last Friday, the National Trade Union Congress of Belize came out in support of its sister unions on a number of issues related to the return of increment. On the matter of pension reform, the umbrella organization chided the government for what it considers to be a very short timeline for research and consultation on the proposed changes.
They are the ones that set the timeline, that's us. They're saying that they want everything done by the 1st of April. And so we're just responding, well, if you want to do the 1st of April, let's sit down and get it done. It can be done. We are going to have a meeting, I think it's tomorrow, and our
representatives in that committee, the DPM and Minister Fonseca, Henry Charles, and Chris. We have already told them more or less what is it that we can expect, or what is it that we believe that we can do, and said definitely the increments, but we need to put a system in place for increments to be given based on merit, and the pension reform. I think the first step is that there is the unions have already accepted that, yes, they agree that there's supposed to be pension reform, and they're saying, well, they want to start at ground zero. If we were to do that, it's going to take us about 30 years before we start to really feel the benefits of it. And 30 years from now, the amount that we'll be paying is going to be incredibly high. So we simply cannot afford it. And so we will sit down with them and try to find a way how we can implement it. Probably it will take more than six weeks, of course, it probably will. But the important point is that once both groups have said, yes, we need to do it, and these are the parameters, and then work towards it.
On Tuesday, the Corozal Sugarcane Producers Association and the Progressive Sugarcane Producers Association wrote Prime Minister John Briceño proposing an increase in the prices of brown and plantation white sugars. According to the CSCPA, the last adjustment in the cost of bagged sugar sold in the Belize market was back in 2015. While an increase may be deserved, is it the appropriate time to request an adjustment, considering the massive inflation that is impacting consumers? That's the question that was posed to the Prime Minister earlier today.
This is something that we in Cabinet would have to take a look at, because as we know, the cost of living continues to go up, and by raising the price of sugar, it can have a direct impact on most everything. And we are trying to do our darnest best to keep down the cost of living. The argument could be made that yes, it is deserving, but also we can make an argument that the taxpayers are helping by the fuel subsidy that we give to be able to keep down the cost of their operations. So whilst they are giving up something, the taxpayers, I believe, are also giving something. Now, mind you, I'm also a cane farmer, so it would be in my interest if it were to go up, but that's not what we're all about. We have to look at the bigger picture, and that is what steps can we take to try to hold on the cost of living on all our citizens.
Coming up, is the Chief Magistrate not going out quietly? Find out the details when we come back.
On March 8th, Belize joins the rest of the world in celebrating International Women's Day. Since 1911, this day has been highlighted as a day to reflect, recognize, and celebrate the social, economic, cultural, and political gains that women have made despite a world that is plagued by gender inequalities and inequities. In Belize, we have designated the month of March as Women's Month. For this month, we call on our government, civil society, the private sector, as well as institutions such as schools and churches to focus increased attention on promoting the human and civil rights of women and girls. The theme for this year's celebrations, Embrace Equity, acknowledges the need for more urgent and direct action to enhance fairness, inclusion, and the creation of a supportive environment for the achievement of gender equality and equity. The National Gender Policy is a strategic tool that aims to support the achievement of these goals. Its 6 pillars include health, education and skills training, wealth and employment generation, violence reduction measures, power and decision making, and finally, organizational system strengthening. According to the Global Gender Gap Report of 2022, Belize has made gains in maternal health, for example, but we must continue to ensure access to sexual and reproductive health services that include early screening for cervical cancer and access to family planning information. In education, let us continue to ensure that women have access to continuing education and skills training. Our women and girls must be able to learn and grow in an environment that is safe from sexual harassment in schools and other learning centers. Let us have zero tolerance towards any form of abuse. In employment and wealth creation, we are painfully aware that women in Belize are 30% less likely than men to participate in income-earning activities. This number is even less for women once they're married. This reality reflects women's gendered role as unpaid caregivers to children, the sick, and the elderly. So let us work to bring about positive change. For violence-producing conditions, unfortunately, we continue to see a rise in reports of gender-based violence and domestic violence. And many still consider this violence in the home as a private matter. However, we know that gender-based violence is a human rights violation and is a matter for all of us without exception. On the bright side, we continue to see progress in government supporting small enterprises led by women. We are in the process of establishing a women's parliamentarian caucus in our National Assembly. In addition, we have sterling support on women's issues from our Special Envoy, Rosana Briceño. And recently, Cabinet has given approval for removing taxes on sanitary pads and products, which, as we know, is gender-specific. Women of Belize, let us join in celebrating ourselves and all women under the theme, Embrace Equity. And let us join partner agencies and civil society in our communities for advocacy and action for a better Belize. I wish you all a happy International Women's Day and month.
Who offers the best home internet experience? The truth is, Digi, of course. Diginet has the largest fiber network and the fastest speeds with the most reliable service. That's more learning, more earning, more gaming, more bonding, more sharing, getting more things done. And now, Diginet is even more affordable with the new entry plan, a 20 megabits per second fiber connection for just $49 monthly. And increased speeds in all plans. The truth is, only Digi has the ultimate home internet experience, with savings up to $270 when you bundle. Wireless and cable can't give you that. So what are you waiting for? Sign up or make the switch to DigiNet today to enjoy more speeds to get more done. Digi, our national telecom.
Get ready for fantastic discounts. From now through to September 30th, Venice is having store-wide discounts on tools, paints, appliances, plumbing and electrical products, lights and fans, household items, and much, much more. Visit a Venice store near you to enjoy fantastic discounts from now through to September 30th, only at Venice. Quality and savings.
City Old Capital Sports and Muy Uno Resort present Friday Night Live. This Friday, March 3rd, your high-octane, sharp-shooting, high-flying Belize City defenders to battle with the second hottest team in the BEPL, the Reach Walk Running Rebels. Come and witness the 1-2 combination of newcomer Lorenzo Dillon and the Talladega Tornado, Mr. MVP Nigel Jones. Lead the #1 team in the BEPL, your Belize City Defenders. Fans, come get a chance at our 1-2-3 halftime challenge, where someone can walk away with $3,000 in cold hard cash. The after party goes down inside Shisha 8 Lounge. Tickets go on sale at the Civic Center ticket booth on Friday morning at 9 a.m. Sponsored by Muy Uno Resorts, 1-2-3 Vegetable Oil, Honorable Anthony Marlowe, Print Inc., Channel 5, Belize City Council, The Tavern, Party 2000, Shisha 8 Lounge, Premier Charters and Tours, Smiling Meats, Nocturnal, Full Memory Photography, and Mars Renter.
2 weeks ago, the sudden removal and temporary replacement of Dr. Andres Sosa as KHMH board chairman raised the eyebrows of many who wanted to know whether the abrupt change in leadership was because Sosa had been candid in past remarks where the hospital was concerned. Minister of Health and Wellness Kevin Bernard told News 5 that he and Dr. Sosa were friends and that Dr. Sosa was even his family doctor. The minister explained that the reason for Sosa's removal is because the hospital is in dire need of a chairman who has a background in business and is able to create the kind of opportunities for the institution to advance. He appointed board member Aaron Hochendani to hold over until the end of February. So today, March 1st, when we got a chance to speak with the minister, we asked him who his pick was for Sosa's replacement.
After careful consideration, we have decided that Mr. Martin Marszalek will serve as the chairman of the KHMH Authority Board of Governors. His letter was sent to him yesterday evening, and I have made the board aware of that decision this morning.
Can you say what qualifications, knowledge he comes with?
Mr. Marszalek brings 30-odd years of management, financial experience, banking experience, and I feel that in order for us to move KHMH from, like I had said before, we need to put KHMH in a more financially viable footing, and we think we need that direction. Now, the other members of the board, we have doctors on the board, so they are the ones that will provide the technical assistance to the chairman in order for us to ensure that there's a balance in terms of what are the health needs within the KHMH, what are the technical things that need to be addressed, and of course from a managerial standpoint, we believe that Mr. Marszalek will be able to bring that balance together and be able to move KHMH forward.
Was Dr. Sosa not fulfilling those requirements of the hospital?
I would not say that, and I will not get into Dr. Sosa. I think that we have passed that already. We made a decision to make a change. Dr. Sosa did his very best. I will not dispute that either. But I believe we needed a new direction, and that's the decision that we have taken.
As has been reported, Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser is retiring this month after 34.5 years of service in the judiciary. But her transition has been a rocky one, to say the least. Fraser believes that there should be an opportunity for upward mobility for one of the senior magistrates who was being groomed to succeed her. But the Attorney General has confirmed that a Sri Lankan national will replace Fraser as Chief Magistrate. Today, Fraser responded to criticism that she is inciting magistrates to rebel against the decision. She says that it is far from the truth.
It's really unfortunate that that is out there, because that is far from the truth. In fact, I have been saying to my colleagues that in fact we need to continue with what it is that we're doing. We need to continue serving the public, meeting our timelines, doing what we need to do. I have in fact been encouraging them that yes, they're not comfortable about a number of things. I know they would have had a meeting with the Chief Justice, who in fact informed me that the meeting went well. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but she informed me that the meeting went well. Giving them a room to express whatever disquiet, whatever concerns that they have. I clearly cannot speak to any more concerns because I'm out basically, but at no point, at no time have I ever incited. In fact, when I spoke to them, my exact words to them was, I cannot tell you all what to do, I cannot incite you, I will not. I know that part of their concern would have been some of the terms and conditions of their service, but they've been given an avenue to address it, and I'm hoping that they can very well address their concerns. I cannot say that I've been afforded that opportunity to express that concerns, but it's not about me. It's not about me anymore. I've served my time. I'm at peace with that. and that is how I intend to leave. We have started a number of initiatives. If it is that a replacement comes who have not been a part of the process, it means that that person has to start first by acquainting themselves with the culture, with the place, with the setting, before they can even get into what initiatives would have been set. It would then mean that as far as continuity is concerned, there would be a break as far as continuity. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm not saying that new blood cannot be infused. I'm just saying that, in fact, it helps if it is you're able to have continuity. If it is you have things in place where people can look forward to upward mobility.
Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser says that she is disappointed with her transition to retirement and the entire process.
I am, because here we have a situation where, having invested youth, time, everything, 34 and a half years to the people and the government of Belize, I feel that, in fact, everything I've fought for is really is not being looked at. This is it's maybe disregarded. I don't know. I'm not saying that is the case. I'm not gonna throw any shade on anyone. I'm not casting any aspersions. I'm not saying anybody know anybody. I'm just simply saying, after I've sat, I've fought, I've had nothing but good intentions for the people and government of Belize that I've given my entire life to, straight out of sixth form. I never went anywhere. I never abandoned the ship. I've been here to the very end. So yes, I am disappointed.
Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser also serves as the president of the Association of Public Service Senior Managers and is one of the lead negotiators in the ongoing dialogue between the government of Belize and the joint union negotiating team. With her retirement on the horizon, Fraser speaks about what the transition will look like for her from the APSSM as well as from the Joint.
Even though the Constitution does not say that, or does not provide that you have to be a serving public officer to be a part of the association, I think I'm at the point where I just want to quiet my spirit. I am going to assist in whatever way I can. I'm going to put something in place for a proper transition, and then eventually I'm hoping that I will have a replacement that has the kind of tenacity, the drive, the commitment that I've given to the association. So, yes, eventually, yes, I will give somebody else a chance to shine. To be honest with you, I was hoping that at least our CBA would have been completed. I had expectation that even before I retired, at least that we would have concluded the CBA, if nothing else. There have been proposals on there that people have retired and have not benefited, proposals that APSSM had put forward that has not concluded. Of course, we're here and it's not concluded, and I don't see it concluding by the daytime to leave. How that is going to work, I'm not sure how that is going to work. I'm going to see, and based on the feedback I get in relation to what my next move is going to be. As I said, I just want to quiet my spirit. I want to, a number of public officers, they work hard, they retire and they die. They never get to enjoy the years of contribution they have made, and I'm hoping at least I can get to do that. and still assist in whatever way that I can in looking to the interests of public officers and senior managers.
12 former employees of Security-Oriented Services, SOS, today filed civil suits against their former boss. We have reported on instances where the security guards went on go-slow or did not show up to work because they claimed that at times they were going weeks without being paid. SOS owner Paul Garcia and supervisor Crispin Spain were at court for a judgment summons with respect to a case brought against them by the Social Security Board for over $8,000 in debt to the SSB. A judgment summons means the court will be examining their means to pay their debt. That judgment was from October 19, 2022, for which no payment has been made. And while that matter was adjourned, Garcia and Spain exited the courtroom and were met by 10 of the 12 disgruntled former employees. One of those employees is 71-year-old Allison Clare, who says that the company owes him over $5,000 in back pay. He was employed with the security firm for 11 years.
I came to file a suit against them for my pay.
Okay.
And, they haven't paid us from December 16th.
Okay.
And they keep telling us they're going to pay. After that, they're going to pay and pay. And they, every week they say they're going to pay us. And they haven't paid us up to now.
What are you hoping to get out of a civil suit? And what kind of debts are they in with you at this moment after 11 years?
Well, they're in debt with me about $5,000.
And as it relates to holiday pay, have you ever taken a holiday and not been paid?
I haven't taken no holiday, but I get paid for the holiday pay, right?
And how about Social Security? Do you know if the company has been paying Social Security for you within that 11 years?
Well, I had get my social long time ago. They tell me that I will come back tomorrow, right?
Okay.
So that I could finish the suit.
Finish the suit. So you started the suit today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you, at any point before coming here today, were you able to speak to the managers to say, let's come to the table?
No, ma'am, because they're not in the office. Their office is closed.
Okay.
And you can't get in touch with them because sometimes you call and they don't answer the phone.
The former employees had visited the Labor Department, and they say that this legal course is their last resort. The company was hired on a 3-year contract to secure the judiciary. Coincidentally, the contract expires today. But our records. SOS has lost several contracts, from which includes securing the Belize Family Court earlier this year. They've also lost contracts with Vikings Club, Barrow & Williams, 100 Gas Station, Fair Brothers, and the KHMH. After the break, Minister Bernard debunks allegation of grabbing green space as personal property. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Come over though, if you actually move or something.
Oh my god, I can't believe this happened.
Under the bed or in the closet, which one?
I got 3 boys. I need them to be better men than me. I mean, better men than we.
Please don't go wind up.
Who has stopped me? Hello? Who has stopped me? Which one I want to?
For We Family, Season 2 at 8 p.m. on Channel 5 and on News 5 Live's Facebook page. Brought to you by the National Commission for Families and Children in collaboration with the National Parenting Task Force and UNICEF. If you are ailing due to a chronic disease and are left permanently invalid before retirement age,
You may want to check if you qualify to receive invalidity benefit. The invalidity benefit exists for persons who are unable to continue working due to permanent illness. To qualify, you must be under 60 years old, must be sick for 26 consecutive weeks and certified to be medically unable to perform any type of work, must have at least 5 years of paid SSB contributions and at least 5 paid within the 3 months leading up to your illness. If you do not qualify for the invalidity pension, you may be eligible for the invalidity grant. Want to know more about invalidity benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
The installation of parking meters in front of the parking spaces at the DigiPark in Belize City has raised the ire of the public. Some are saying it goes against the order of business for those who vend from the park itself. Others argue it does not support family-oriented events at the location because parking there is now costing families that visit the area for recreation. But today, Mayor Bernard Wagner explained that the council had noticed that the spaces were being taken up all day by people who don't use the facility, but merely work in the area, and that was creating problems for others who legitimately want access. He said that a new assessment later this month could result in the removal of the meters and the reintroduction of traffic wardens in the area.
Actually, the pilot project comes to an ending of March right here, and so we'll reassess where we stand. Nothing is written in stone. We understand their situation. I continue to liaise with them. But the point here is that we are here to serve the residents. We don't have any intention of sending any one of those vendors out of business. Actually, we want them to be successful business. And if they have an issue there with the parking meters at the end of the pilot project, we reassess and see how it works. We know it worked well on Albert Street. Maybe it hasn't worked well in the Digi Park area, and so we are open for those discussions.
And while we were with Minister Bernard, our colleagues posed a question to him about a 1-acre parcel of land in Carmelita Village that was purportedly allocated as a green space, but that now bears his name as the owner. The minister responded by saying that the report is a political ploy.
I will not respond to this comment. I will not drag myself down into the UDP political mischief. I will just leave it to see what will happen whenever the time comes. But just leave that.
Are you planning a residential area?
I am not, and I was, as I said, I will not respond on that matter. Let us wait and see what will develop in the Carmelita area, then we can talk.
Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, has written to the president of the Toledo Alcaldes Association, as well as the program manager for the Maya Leaders Alliance, in respect of an issue that is being reported by the chairwoman of Barranco Village. It is also a concern that is being raised by the chairperson of Yemery Grove Village. They are fearful that villagers in the surrounding communities may be encroaching on land belonging to Barranco and Yemery Grove, respectively. Both villages are non-Maya communities and, in the case of Barranco, predates other communities in that area of Toledo District. News 5 spoke with the Minister of Indigenous Peoples Affairs earlier today, and she explained the purpose of the letter.
When we were down south 2 weekends ago, we received certain representations and even complaints from the people of Barranco through their chairperson, Beatrice Mariano, and the people of Yemery Grove through their chairman, Harold Usher. We held meetings. Of course, the outreach in the south is very important. And the nature of the complaints is that certain Maya villages may, now I repeat may, because we are still looking into the situation, certain Maya villages or villagers may be going into lands that are claimed by Barranco and Yemery Grove as non-Maya villages, you know? And so I would not wish for any kind of difficult situation to arise. So I felt it necessary to write to the president of the Toledo Alcaldes Association and the MLA representative, Mr. Pablo Miss, because we had met with them as well when we were down south 2 weekends ago. And so the nature of my writing to them is that when it comes to the delimitation of village boundaries, it must be done in consultation with other villages, whether those villages are Maya or non-Maya, because in what we call the auto-delimitation principles and methodology, Maya villages, they're allowed to delimit their boundaries in terms of what is claimed. However, this must be done with a proper methodology, as I have said. And that methodology is that you must consult with a neighboring village if you're going to be delimiting or setting boundaries.
Would this happen to be in respect of Midway Village?
Clearly, there is boundary issue between Midway and Barranco, and that is why we have had to ask that when you set boundaries, you do so in consultation and that it be mutually and respectfully agreed. But yes, indeed, Barranco and Midway adjoin, and so we have to figure it out. And government has to play the role of an honest broker and even a mediator if necessary. But we felt that it was important to notify all parties concerned that you can't just say, well, this is my land, and then you go clear out more land for Milpa or whatever it might be without consulting. That's not going to be good going forward. And so we have to request that there be respectful discussions when boundaries are being claimed or delimited.
While speaking with Minister Dolores Balderramos Garcia earlier today, she provided an update on a recent compliance hearing that was held between the government of Belize and representatives of the Maya communities in southern Belize. The compliance hearing is part of a series of activities that were prescribed by the Caribbean Court of Justice in respect of Maya land rights, as well as the settlement of that issue.
Yesterday, there was a compliance hearing. This is done virtually, of course, with the parties. And so the report is that the hearing went fairly well and that the court is aware of the complexity of the implementation of the court order and is giving both the government and the parties an opportunity to consult and to talk to one another. That is what we were doing 2 weekends ago. The court felt that things are going fairly well. However, we must continue to talk and consult. And so we have met with the JCS people, we have met with the MLA people, and of course the Toledo Alcalde Association. And we have had very respectful and cordial and constructive meetings. And of course, the next thing coming up will be sharing and consulting on what we call the Maya land policy. And then I think we would go back to court in June, if I'm not mistaken, from the reports I received. I wasn't personally witnessing the hearing because we had cabinet yesterday, but cabinet is aware of the letter that our ministry sent out, our Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, and there is approval of communicating to all villagers and villages in the south that whatever we do, we must do it in a respectful and a consultative way.
Today at the Jaguar Auditorium at the University of Belize, Belmopan campus, students from UB, Galen and other tertiary institutions got an opportunity to attend a presentation by members of the People's Constitution Commission and its secretariat. The students were able to ask questions and voice their concerns, even make suggestions as it relates to the constitutional reform process that is underway. Today, News 5 was able to get a comment from Minister Henry Charles Usher about this event.
The PCC is mandated to carry out educational campaigns, consultation campaigns, and then to write the final report that will be submitted to the National Assembly. And it is an 18-month period that they've been given to do this. I know that there have been some sessions, some educational sessions arranged so far. I think those were done not through the PCC, but rather through individual organizations. On Saturday, I attended one organized by the National Creole Council at Swift Hall, and it was a very educational session that we were there at. Attorney Anthony Sylvester was explaining the Constitution and explaining the role of the PCC. I didn't have the chance to go to the one this morning at UB, but I want to try to make as many as I can. And then in terms of the PCC official consultation process, they will be publishing a schedule so that everybody knows where they will be in which particular district. They will also be utilizing social media, so I encourage all Belizeans to somehow contribute, learn about the Constitution, and certainly offer their recommendations.
When we return, midterm review on Sendai framework highlights communication challenges.
to choose from: budget, economy, Island Lux. Try our services today and earn loyalty points on each ride to get cashback deals on your next ride, or sign up to be a Madriva driver. Just be sure to have your police record on hand. Transportation services at your fingertips. Download the app today. Madriva, opening doors to new opportunities.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Sign up for a Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Special offer alert! Trade in your old device and active SIM and get a Samsung A04e for as low as $85, plus 50% off your Share One plan for the first 3 months. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. Now that's love. So this month, get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
The Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015 to 2030 is the single most important global agreement for the preservation of life and investments in the event of a disaster. But this is probably the first time you have ever heard any mention of it. And if you are among the few globally who have an understanding of the framework, you will know that it is littered with jargons and terminologies that are not common to the layman. Unfortunately, it is well documented that impoverished communities with substandard building codes and little knowledge of their vulnerabilities stand to lose the most when disaster strikes. But as it stands, a wide gap exists between the solutions that the Sendai framework provides for these communities and an appreciation for those tools and mechanisms at the local level. News 5's Paul Lopez reports from Punta del Este, Uruguay.
Good evening, once again from the 8th Regional Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction in Latin America and the Caribbean, taking place here in Punta del Este, Uruguay. So there's this one document that this entire event and the work of the UNDRR is hinged upon, and that is the Sendai framework. But what is it really? It's very important that we understand the Sendai framework, and this may be the first time you've heard about it. And so what I did today, I went on a fact-finding mission to learn and understand more about this global agreement. Here's that report. The Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, or the Sendai Framework. What is it? You have probably never heard of this agreement or its importance to your country and local community. To get a better understanding, we did random interviews with a few experts on the topic.
The Sendai framework is a sort of rules, tools, guidance to make the communities more resilient. Is the first step to get into a resilient process with the final goal is to make more sustainable communities.
Do you think that the communities, the people that are most affected, the most vulnerable, that they have a good understanding of what the Sendai framework is?
No, I'm sure that most of our viewers right now did not know what is the Sendai framework.
The Sendai framework is the last of a series of frameworks, and it's important to know that because it represents the most advanced conception of what we would like to see that disaster risk reduction was or is, and how to achieve it. I think it's highly likely that most people have never ever, don't even know the Sendai framework exists. It is highly probable that most disaster risk reduction is done by people who don't even know there's a United Nations organization on top of it.
The Sendai framework is the global agreement among nations and other actors is the highest agreement within the UN system that address the challenge of disaster risk reduction globally.
How well do you think the communities that are most affected, the vulnerable, the people on the ground, understand this document and their roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, not well, I'm afraid. Not that well as we would like to. I mean, the community that are behind the Sendai framework.
The Sendai framework lists 4 priority areas: understanding disaster risk, strengthening disaster risk governance, investing in disaster risk reduction, and enhancing disaster preparedness. But the International Science Council has cited a major problem with the implementation of the framework: communication. In its midterm review on the implementation of the framework, the Council noted that communicating risk is one of the major challenges being faced ahead of 2030.
The last recommendation that we have, that Alonso spoke to, is to develop partners in the communities who bring the voice of the community with them. This involves media, but it's not just communication. It is communication and capability, the ability to act on the information. So simply, as Alonso was saying, those partnerships are not just, let's have a workshop together. It is much more important because it has to be based on trust. Now, we have many kinds of trust. We usually hear, you've got to trust somebody. But then we ask, what is trust? It is rational. Is the information valuable and useful and grounded in science? It is procedural. Am I engaged in making that decision? But there is an even more important part of trust, which is, why should you believe that I have your interest at heart? And the arrogance we are saying is, do not walk in and think just because you did the study, someone should trust you. We don't know the answer. Neither does the community. What we want is to create the space where we discuss what is the important thing to do. Otherwise, we will do the wrong thing but with better data.
Mami Mizutori, the Special Representative for the United Nations Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction, agrees that the success of the framework's implementation is hinged on how well its message is communicated to the most vulnerable. She says the lives of the most vulnerable depends on it.
Risk communication, as you say, if it doesn't reach the most vulnerable people in the most remote areas who may not even speak the common language of the country, then we are not being successful. And this is especially important, for example, in early warning, early action. If the warnings are not reaching these people in a way that they can understand, then early warning systems don't work. And even before going into the system, for many people, when they're when they're told that you are surrounded with risk, they really don't grasp it, because there's a tendency in human beings to think that risk is something far away geographically, also in timelines. It's not going to happen today or tomorrow. That's how we want to think, that's how we think. And also, if it's not associated to that person, the way he or she lives, they don't really think about it, right? So we need to be able to translate our messages, our policies into language that is accessible to these people. If we don't get this right, we can't implement the Sendai framework, because the number of people who die will not go down, because the number who are affected won't go down, because economic loss won't go down. And these are specifically the indicators that will measure the success of the implementation of the Sendai framework.
And so it stands that one of the major challenges for UN member countries within the next 7 years will be to break down its messaging on disaster risk reduction in such a way that the most vulnerable can understand why the implementation of the Sendai framework at all levels can actually help to save lives and reduce losses.
Reporting from Punta del Este, Uruguay for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Multi-hazard early warning systems are playing an integral role in the preservation of lives across the globe in the event of an impending hazard. For example, when a tropical cyclone is expected to impact Belize, through its early warning system, the National Meteorological Service of Belize can make predictions about the storm's projected path, its landfall, and the strength of the system, among other things. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, there are early warning systems in place to inform residents about volcanic activities. Early warning provides information on potential impacts so that the vulnerable can take early action. Elizabeth Riley, the executive director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, was part of a press conference held in Uruguay on the Early Warning Systems for All initiative under the UNDRR. Here is what she had to say about the initiative's benefits to the Caribbean.
The benefit has been that we've been giving greater emphasis to having better modeling in the Caribbean. So the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology has over that time period significantly upgraded the modeling capability, where we can get better granularity on potential impacts from excess rainfall as well as cyclonic events in the region. We have invested, and a number of countries now have what we call tsunami-ready designations, because tsunami is the number one of the hazards that is treated under that umbrella as well. We've been working with the Seismic Research Center, upgrading the capability of monitoring of the volcanoes, and I think one of the untold success stories in the Caribbean is the excellent work that was done by the full suite of actors supporting St. Vincent and the Grenadines around the La Soufrière eruption. And there was no loss of life. And this is very unusual. If you look at volcanic eruptions across the globe, that is not the usual story. And this was a real success story on application of multi-hazard early warning systems in the region. I would say that to some extent, every SEDIMA participating state has early warning systems in place, to some extent. The best developed early warning systems are around the hydrometeorological hazards, but we're making good progress on those related to seismic. Since COVID-19, we have also invested quite a bit in mechanisms for health alerts and threats that may come on that biological side as well. What is the greatest barrier? I would say the risk knowledge. And if you look across the globe at the progress that has been made on the priority areas under the Sendai framework, you will realize that this is congruent with the global picture.
And while multi-hazards early warning systems have yielded a great deal of success within the Caribbean, Executive Director Elizabeth Riley of Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency says that to truly realize the vision of the UN Secretary General as it pertains to early warning systems for all, there is a need for greater access to financing. Riley spoke candidly about the hurdles small island developing states face in their efforts to access the necessary funding for the implementation of these life-saving systems.
There are some pockets of financing that we had managed to secure since 2017 to move some of these initiatives forward. But one of the things that I raised in the sessions this week is that if we are really serious about delivering on the UN Secretary General's initiative, the investment has to be at transformative levels. It cannot be small project-based or pilots in the way that we've been treating issues around early warning systems in the past. It has to be transformative. So this means we are looking at large pockets of financial, large envelopes to support the region. The other thing is that, so there are avenues out there. That's the answer. There are avenues out there, but it's now about access to those avenues. Who is eligible to qualify, and this is, one of the things I think is implicit in the statement by the UN Secretary General. He said early warning systems for all. He didn't say early warning systems for those that are ODA eligible. So, and this is an important point, because it means that if we are to reach that target in a 5-year period, and we're almost concluded year 1, that we have to look in a very honest way at the financing opportunities and avenues for countries in the region, even those that have now graduated from being able to access different envelopes of funding.
Less fortunate school children across the Old Capitol will be able to receive additional tutoring and access to the digital world through a Youth Connect student hub that the Belize City Council opened today at its ground floor at City Hall. Mayor Bernard Wagner admits that this is one of his council's manifesto pledges that they are delivering on. News 5's Marianne Alley was there and filed this report.
Today, a new students' hub was established in Belize City for students who need help with their homework or additional tutoring in a particular subject area. The Belize City Council Student Hub also caters to school children who need access to computers and the internet.
The Youth Connect Student Hub is the council's way of becoming fully child-friendly, in the sense that as a council, majority of the actions that we have been doing are aligning ourselves to making sure that Belize City is more child-friendly. We are responding to the issues of the community, one of those being access to education.
And according to the hub's coordinator, Michael Fritz, children attending primary and high school can go there to get assistance with their homework or receive tutoring on whatever subject area they might have challenges with. But who will provide the mentoring for these children?
The strategic design for the Student Hub is to ensure that there is someone that's competent in primary education and has some in-depth knowledge in secondary education, in addition to volunteers from the junior colleges in Belize City and the University of Belize to come in and to help tutor and mentor the kids. So the center is open, it's an after-school center. So we're looking at terms of hours, 1 to 7 p.m. during the week, and also availability on Saturday.
In subject areas?
In basic math, English, and also other subject areas that the children might need assistance in. So based on what is coming in terms of where the focus areas need to be, that's where our job is to get people competent in those focus areas to ensure that the children do get the training or the sensitization that they need.
And how can the council afford to sustain this project? Mayor Bernard Wagner explained.
Monthly it's a salary, because we don't pay rent, obviously. It will have utilities costs again. So I have not factored in terms of the monthly, but I know that we do not pay rent for this building. It will only be the cost for the person who administrates the office.
Michael Fritz says that at any given time, between 20 and 30 children can be accommodated at the hub, where there will be volunteers to assist them with homework. School supplies will also be provided to the children who visit the center. Parents who would like their children to enroll can contact the Belize City Council via its Facebook page or by visiting City Hall at the Market Square to sign up. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
Up next, InfoSeguro Project donates laptops to the judiciary.
In 2018, I was diagnosed with cervical 4A, stage 4A cancer. First, it was the size of a grapefruit. That's what the doctor told me. No? The kidney got enlarged. I couldn't do any chemotherapy because of the kidney. So I had to do only radiation. And I did my first session of 25. And then when I finished with the 25 sessions, I went back, she checked it, and she saw 4 centimeters. And I went back for the next 10 days, and after that, when she checked it again, she said, oh, it's like nothing is there. It wasn't painful, but it's just it's a machine that you go under, and they have like a big, like a circular, and that goes 5 times. You will take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the radiation, 1 session. Then you go back the next morning, another session. Well, I personally will highly recommend Galenia Hospital because of its good services, friendly staff, the doctors, very caring. Well, I just want to thank them for everything that they have done for me, you know, the staff and the doctor, especially Dr. Jamie, because she was my doctor for the radiation. No?
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
This afternoon at the Williamson Hangar in Ladyville, U.S. Ambassador Michelle Kwan handed over a single-engine Cessna aircraft to the government of Belize for use by the Belize Defense Force Air Wing. The plane has been retrofitted for aerial reconnaissance of Belize's terrestrial domain. The keys to the airplane were handed over to Prime Minister John Briceño during a brief ceremony.
Today's donation of the Cessna aircraft ranges around 7
$1.84 million US. It helps the Belizean Defense Force and the interagency with aerial reconnaissance. So as in my remarks, I said, next time you look up, it is possibly the aircraft making sure that Belize is safe and secure.
It's the first donation of this kind in many years to Belize's armed forces. Perhaps you can talk to us a bit about how that came about and perhaps how the embassy was approached for this kind of assistance?
Well, it's one of many donations, training programs that the United States has supported the Belizean government. This has been years in the making, and I'm thrilled that today I get to be a part of this handoff, physically giving the keys to Prime Minister John Briceño.
Your reactions and your thoughts, PM?
Well, certainly very pleased and excited to receive this plane. I mean, it is, as what Minister Marin said, a game changer, especially for us in the fight against the narco traffickers in Belize and for any other activities. For instance, if there's a hurricane during, an emergencies or even forest fires, there's so many things that we can use that to be able to help us. But certainly, I want to thank Ambassador Kwan to assist us in the process. Yes, it happened many years ago, but I'm sure she had a lot to do to be able to finalize this and to get it here in Belize. And on behalf of our government and our grateful people, we want to thank you, Ambassador, and please convey my gratitude to President Biden and to his government for this. This will go a long way for us, and it certainly means a lot for that the United States, one of our most important partners, can join us in helping in the development of our country.
Today at the Senior Courts building on Regent Street in Belize City, the USAID-funded InfoSegura project handed over 8 laptops to Chief Justice Louise Blendman and Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser. While it is part of the continued efforts by the U.S. government to support improvements in Belize's citizen security, the donation to the judiciary will assist magistrates with access to the case management system. The devices donated are valued at 27,000 Belize dollars and were procured through the United Nations Development Program. A News 5 team was there for the handing over.
It gives all of us, all magistrates, access to our entire management of our cases so that any magistrate on any given day can go on the system, look at the number of cases they have, look to next week to see what they have next month, look at the cases, the age of the cases, in determining how they're going to address those cases when the date come, and manage their time properly. Of course, to access this means we have to have the necessary tools. These laptops will complement what we've already gotten. So we did receive some equipment through INL, through UNDP, through the U.S. Embassy. So with this set is now to add to what we would have received and make it where the magistrates now can actually stay on the bench while doing matters. They can in fact put in information, do necessary research as far as defendants who come before them, look to see whether they have any outstanding, any other matter or anything else that is linked to what they're dealing with, so that it gives them greater access to the whole management of the cases that we have.
Internationally, the use of data and information in accurate and timely decision-making has been instrumental for improving public policies. Therefore, evidence is a fundamental element in designing and implementing effective public policies. With this goal, since 2014, the InfoSegura Regional Project has been promoting information management in matters of citizen security to support countries in their efforts to achieve goals and targets of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in Central America and the Dominican Republic.
InfoSegura
is the first USAID and UNDP regional strategic partnership on citizen security, enhancing UNDP's work with strategic partner institutions in this sector and providing a robust model for regional integration, spotlighting the inclusion of voices from civil society and academia.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5police.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.